Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. PSV in the Champions League, match day 6. We are already through, so it's actually a dead rubber game. Also, PSV are already through. So, will that kind of help us? Can the managers just talk and be like, listen, let's play the players that have never played in the Champions League before? Let's rest all our best players, rest Bakayoko, we rest Saka, rest De Jong, we rest Jesus, and we just agree, listen, let's get a 1-1 and get out of there. No one is injured. We both go through. Let's hopefully meet again in the round. In the knockout stages, quarterfinal, semi-final, whichever it's going to be, and let's all enjoy ourselves. First of all, right from the start, Saliba, Declan Rice, Saka, especially those three, take away their passports, leave them in England, take away their passports. I don't want to see them anywhere near Netherlands at all. I don't want to see them there. Although I've had that Saka is expected to travel. Martinelli is not expected to travel. I'm hearing that he's ill. Maybe that's a good thing for us. Maybe he looked. I had someone saying that the other day when you're playing Aston Villa. Someone actually said he looks like he's ill. Looks like they were actually right. He didn't look at his best at all, and that is not how Martinelli usually plays. So this is a game we can just go out there and enjoy ourselves. Obviously, you don't want to go and lose 5-0, 6-0. Maybe it's a positive because PSV are already through as well. I don't think they'll go full throttle and try to dismantle us totally. So maybe it's a good thing that they're already through as well. Last time we went to PSV, it wasn't great at all. Obviously, we lost this game. Was it like 2-0 or something? Could have been more goals. They should have had like 4 goals on that day as well. I think they had a couple of goals disallowed. Back then, they had Xavi Simons. They had, I think there's someone else they had. Was it Xavi Simons and I think Gakpo. Gakpo was one, I think, who scored and it got disallowed. I don't know if Madueke was there as well before he went to Chelsea. They dismantled us when we went there last time. This time, though, we are both through, so maybe both of us don't really play a lot of energy. It's not going to be an easy game. I expected this game to be the hardest game that we had in our group. And I remember saying at the beginning of the group stage, I hope we don't have to go to PSV in the final game still needing to qualify, because that will be totally hard. And on top of that, I was looking at the fixtures that we have around that PSV game, like playing Aston Villa away. And keep in mind, that time we didn't even know Aston Villa was going to be this tough. So by the time we were approaching like October, November, I was like, man, we need to already have gone through, because I don't want to go to PSV. And then just 3 days before that, we have Aston Villa away, and then we'll have Liverpool away, we'll have Brighton, we'll have tough games against the likes of West Ham, a lot of fixtures in December. And listen, we could even have been in the Carabao Cup. If we went through against West Ham, we could have had another fixture in the Carabao Cup. It could have been even more games to play, but we're not in the Carabao Cup. And luckily, this game is now a dead rubber game. We already through. It's funny that we've waited to be back in the Champions League for like 6 years, and we only focused on 5 games. The 6th game doesn't even really matter, even if we play or not. We are now looking forward to the round of 16 draw. That will be next week on Monday, and then we find out our opponents. But for now, we actually have an opportunity to focus on the league. We have to get back to winning ways against Brighton. We have to get a good result against Liverpool. That will be a very tough game. And then obviously the likes of West Ham and all those guys before the new year. But for this game, how do we approach it now? Last time we played PSV, that was our first game back in the Champions League after 6 years. We beat them. We comfortably 4-0 at the Emirates. Maybe that could be a reason why they could maybe go with a few first team players and try to maybe revenge, get a 3-0 win for themselves. Does it really matter though? I actually don't really care if we win or lose, because if we hadn't lost to Lons, then we'd have said, okay, listen, let's keep our unbeaten run throughout the group stage. Let's try and get a draw. Let's try and get a win, and finish with maximum points or finish without any losses. But you've already lost a game against Lons, so we are not trying to get an unbeaten run going, anything like that, or an unbeaten group stage going. That is already gone. The only worry for me is the players who are coming on, the second team players and the third team players who are coming on. I don't really just want to throw in El Neni and Nelson and then lose 5-0. I don't think it would be fair on them, because just like basically rest every single first team player and play players who've never played in a while. Players like Cedric has never played like for a while, almost like a year since he last played. So the fitness is not there. Would it be fair to just throw all of them into the team, players who've never played next to youngsters as well, and just rest every single first team player and then kill their confidence completely by losing 6-0? I don't think that would be fair. So we don't even have that many players anyway. Like if Fabio Vieira was there and Smith Rowe, actually, there's breaking news. Smith Rowe is back in training. So could we see him in this game? Is it too early to see him in this game? But you get my point. Like if we had Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe fully fit, and um, if Timber's in the lineup, and then let's say Tomiyasu hadn't played a lot, then you can play players like that in this game. But most of our players are injured. 5 or 6 players are injured right now, especially the backup players. We throw Fabio Vieira, the ones who are usually on the bench coming on. They're all injured, so we basically have to play a few fast team players as well, or maybe give our youngsters an opportunity. So I'll try to build a team that I would like to see in this match, try to balance it out and still leave Rice, Saliba, and Saka home. But Saka might travel. So I have Martinelli on this graphic, but I'm hearing he might not travel because I made this graphic yesterday. But let's get to the team that I would go for. So we will finally see Aaron Ramsdale in goal in the Champions League. I mean, if he doesn't play, then it's definitely done. And listen, I'd actually not be surprised if he doesn't play. In that interview that his dad did, I don't think I'd take such things lightly. Don't be surprised if you see Carl Hein playing. So Ramsdale in goal for us. But hey, Ramsdale played against Brentford the other week, so I think he will play in this one. So Ramsdale in goal. Happy to see him in the Champions League. And then my centre-back pairing, now we have Saliba, we have Gabriel, we have Ben White who can play there, we have Kivio can play there. For me, as I said, Saliba remains back home. Those Saliba and Rice, those 2 important players, very important players. We have a lot of important players, but specifically those 2, most of you'd agree, those 2 specifically, I'll leave them home. They have to be there for this crucial running coming up. And I wouldn't want to play someone like a Saliba in a game against PSV that you've already gone through and then he ends up missing Liverpool. That would be a nightmare. So my defensive partnership would be Kivio and Ben White. That would be my defensive partnership, centre-back partnership. Ben White missed a couple of games with injury, and Kivio hasn't really played a lot. Although the good thing with these 2, they haven't been like on the bench like all the time. Ben White has been playing, but even when he was on the bench, he was coming from injury. He had played a lot of minutes. Even Kivio, it's not like we're just bringing in someone who's not played the whole season. No, he started the game against Luton last week, just a few days ago. He was starting at the beginning of the season. He's played in the Carabao Cup. He might have also played one of the Champions League games or something. So he's not totally like, he's not been out of the team completely, So I think that would be a good partnership. And that actually applies to Ramsdale as well. Ramsdale has not been like totally not playing like just on the bench. No, he has played a few games here and there. He was playing at the beginning of the season, so it's not like just bringing in someone who's totally cold and hasn't played for years. So I think that would be good enough for this game, especially if PSV rest their players, Kivio and Ben White. But what do we do with the fullbacks? Zinchenko now is basically the only fullback we have on that side because we don't have Tomiyasu and you don't have Timber. So if Zinchenko gets an injury, we don't have anyone else to play there. You can argue Kivio, yes, but you're losing a lot. When you play Kivio there, you're losing a lot in terms of going forward. We might have to play Kivio against Liverpool, who knows, just to try and deal with Salah. I'm not looking forward to that battle. I really wanted Tomiyasu for that game. So what do we do with the fullbacks? Ben White, I'm already playing Ben White as a centre-back here, so we don't also have Tomiyasu. So we're out of numbers in terms of defense. We definitely need to sign someone in January or hope that Timber and Tomiyasu come back as soon as possible. So my fullbacks would be Cedric at right back. Welcome back, Cedric, and Souza, the youngster, Leno Souza at left back. I'd give him some game time. I don't know if Arteta will go for this many changes, but I mean, in terms of resting players and balancing it out, I don't think that's the worst because we have injuries. Timber and Tomiyasu were injured. If both of them were fit, then maybe throw in one more fast team player there, maybe a Gabriel, and then have Gabriel, Kivio, White, and Cedric, balance it out. But at the moment, we have so many injuries, we can't risk Zinchenko or someone like a Saliba getting injured. So we have to go with whatever we can. And I think this is well balanced out. Like we have Ben White, a first team player. We have Kivio, is not like always like on the bench. No, he plays sometimes. So we could argue between first team, second team there. And then Souza is a youngster, and then Cedric is a player he has the experience, but he hasn't played in a long time, so he doesn't have the fitness. And many Arsenal fans would argue he's not the best defender in the world. But in terms of set pieces and all that, let's see if he can help us in that. If he gets a penalty, he'll definitely score. He usually scores that. Midfield. What would we do in our midfield? So in terms of that defense, we've rested Gabriel, we've rested Saliba. I think that's good enough. Midfield, what would we do? As I say, Declan Rice, leave him in England. This is for me. I'd leave him in England. Don't travel with him. He needs some rest. This is the perfect game for him to rest. Odegaard just came back from an injury. He didn't play well the other day. Should we give him this game? Listen, go out there and make things right. He didn't play. He missed a lot of chances the other day. Go out there and play. What happened to Havertz? Havertz is now one of our most important players. Should we rest him in this one? Does Trossard come back in midfield? El Neni, does he come back? Jorginho? This would be my midfield. So I would go with Jorginho as the number 6. I would go with El Neni as the number 8, and then just have El Neni running around. Like, he'll do a lot of that, like in that position, and then coming back in the number 6. He's definitely not a lazy player. El Neni will give you the effort in midfield, and he'll win the ball back for you and all that. The only problem is when he gets to the final third or gets a chance to pass the ball, he'll really pick out the pass, like someone like a Trossard there or a party there. It's not likely. But that would be my midfield: Jorginho, El Neni, and the youngster Nwaneri. I had made this graphic before. I think Arsenal won 7-1 the other day. The under 18s, under 21s, or something like that. And I think Nwaneri had a very good game. I saw something like 5 goals or something crazy like that. Nwaneri, I don't know if that is the whole season or just for that particular game, but he's been on good form. Just know that Nwaneri has been very good. So I would give him this particular game. I think he was on the bench in one of those matches that have just passed. I think it's either Sevilla at home or Lens at home. He was on the bench. So I'd have that midfield. Not the strongest midfield. If we had Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe, they'd probably play instead of Melanie and Nwaneri, and that would be a better midfield. Jorginho, Smith Rowe, and Vieira. But a chance to give El Neni some game time is not played a lot at all. And Nwaneri as well hasn't really made any first team appearances. Give him some time as well to play in that midfield. So Jorginho, El Neni, and Nwaneri. So as you can see so far from those players, we have Ben White, the first team player. We have Kivio. He's not a first team player, but he does get some game time. Same applies to Jorginho. What happens to the forward line? This would be the forward line: Reece Nelson, Ketia, and Trossard. I think that's a good enough forward line in terms of a second team, or for a dead rubber game. I don't think that's bad at all. Ketia has gotten some game time in the first team, same as Trossard, and Trossard has actually been very good in the Champions League this season. A part of me was tempted to play Jesus because he's been really good in the Champions League, but no, he definitely needs a rest. And Nelson finally gets a start. We don't even bring him on that much, so let's see how he does in this. And then that leaves on the bench Karl-Heinz, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Havertz, Odegaard. I've put Martinelli there, but I'm hearing he's not going to travel. Saka is going to travel, so Saka is going to be there. Walters, Sago Jr., and Lewis Skelly. I think that's a balanced enough team. From that match, I've now rested Raya, I've rested Saliba, I've rested Declan Rice, I've rested Saka totally from that team. I've left them home completely, same with Gabriel Jesus. But I've had a few players on the bench: Odegaard, Havertz, Zinchenko, Gabriel. Ideally, I don't want to see Gabriel and Zinchenko, especially those two. I don't want to see them anyway in this game. If we have to bring on a few players from the bench, if the game is 1-1 and just need some 20-25 minutes, then you can bring on Odegaard because he didn't have a good game the other day. Bring him on to finish the game off. And maybe even Havertz, because Havertz and Rice and those kind of players, they're able to play a lot of minutes. But now, since Martinelli is not there, Saka will be there. I don't really want to see Saka. So this would be great. If you're leading 3-0, surprisingly, with that team, you take off Trossard, you take off Ben White, you bring on Walters, you bring on Lewis Skelly, play him in midfield, pack out your midfield, and bring on Havertz, Odegaard for the last 5 minutes and to kill the game off. That would be ideal. But just to recap the team: Ramsdale, Kivio, Ben White, Souza, Cedric, Jorginho, Neni, Nwaneri, Nelson, Ketia, and Trossard. On the bench: Karl-Heinz, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Walters, Sago Jr., Lewis Skelly. Martinelli is ill. He's not expected to travel. So I think Saka will travel. That is my team. But how will Arteta approach this game? I'd not be surprised to see Saka and Rice starting there. But I think that would be a bit too risky. We have so many games, and this is a group we've already gone through. It's not like you're trying to be unbeaten or anything like that. it's not like you're going to lose 7-0. Even if you lose, I don't really mind. I'm hoping for a draw in that game. So my prediction, speaking of draw, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, PSV 2, Arsenal 2. I'm not going to predict a win this time because I know I'm expecting a bit of rotation. It depends on how PSV approach the game as well. There could be a bit of rotation. If they don't play De Jong and Tillman and Till in midfield, and they don't play Veerman and all those guys, and they play their second team, then you can get a win with that team with Trossard and Ketty Nelson and all those guys. But if they play their first team, I mean, listen, just don't lose heavily. I wouldn't mind a 2-1 or something like that. That is totally fine. We've already gone through, we've already done a job early. We now have a couple of months to focus on the Premier League. Let me know your prediction. Let me know which starting lineup you'd go for. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.